Thank you for attending my presentation on Stormgate, real-time disaster. Well, what is Stormgate? Stormgate is a free-to-play, real-time strategy game developed by Frost Giant Studios, a company built almost entirely out of former Blizzard devs. Their mission was to build the great Blizzard-style RTX. Their pedigree was undeniable: StarCraft II, Warcraft III, and Red Alert 2. These were the people who made the golden age of real-time strategy what it was. Their pitch was clear. Stormgate would be the modern RTS we'd been waiting for. A spiritual successor to StarCraft II, but friendlier, more accessible, more community-driven, and built for esports from the ground up. On paper, it sounded incredible. RTS fans had been starved of new titles. Blizzard abandoned StarCraft II. Command & Conquer is basically dead. And Warcraft III is old. Stormgate positioned itself as the savior of the genre. But here's the problem. When you say that we're the new StarCraft, you're stepping into essentially impossible shoes. RTS isn't just StarCraft II, it's also StarCraft Brood War, one of the most legendary competitive games of all time. Not to mention StarCraft II's decade-old, polished, beautiful pathfinding system that games today still struggle to even come close to. Warcraft III, a game that not only had an incredible campaign, but literally birthed the MOBA genre due to maps like Dota, my favorite game of all time. Not to mention how Warcraft III's story directly led into the biggest MMO in the world, World of Warcraft. And Red Alert 2, a game with personality, polish, and an identity so strong that people are still quoting its cutscenes and playing its game decades later. By comparing themselves so openly to StarCraft, Warcraft III, and Red Alert 2, Frost Giant wasn't just aiming high, they invited players to measure Stormgate against the greatest RTS games ever made. The problem? RTS fans remember these games vividly, and they're ruthless when something doesn't measure up. The marketing for Stormgate leaned into pedigree and ambition. This was going to be a platform. Massive co-op campaigns, ranked competitive modes, custom maps like Warcraft III, and a never-ending stream of content, baby. The developers promised to modernize the genre, to bring 3 times the responsiveness of StarCraft II. Mind you, I'm pretty sure the only thing easier than moving in StarCraft II is the act of breathing. There's a huge risk in this kind of marketing. The more features you promise, the more players expect them to be there at launch. Rightfully so, because you were advertising those features to be there in the first place. If you pitch your game like a finished buffet, but deliver a handful of appetizers, the audience is going to feel cheated no matter how good those appetizers are. And what do you know? Stormgate launched in early access at 0.6. At launch, Stormgate wasn't ready. It really wasn't ready. The campaign content was short, forgettable, and nowhere near the storytelling of a Warcraft III or Red Alert 2. The competitive balancing, while pretty decent, wasn't the StarCraft II hyper esport thing that we were all expecting. The co-op experience was shallow, and many of the hyped features, the storm gates, and the robust custom game tools, were sort of nowhere to be found, incomplete. It didn't feel like the next evolution of RTS, it felt like a prototype. Worse still, the game lacked polish across the board. Animations, UI, sound design, nothing had that Blizzard level StarCraft, Warcraft level iconic crispiness. And when you sell yourself as the spiritual successor, what was it again? Yes, the future of the RTS genre, players will notice every rough edge. Now, the game is most certainly dead. The hype collapsed almost overnight. Steam reviews are in mixed territory. The player base that rushed in for launch bled out quickly, only leaving a small, loyal core. The esports angle fizzled before it could start. Real-time strategy fans who had been desperate for something new went back to their old standbys: Brood War, StarCraft II, AoE 2, even fan mods. Are y'all playing the StarCraft II, Warcraft 3 mod? Hope you are. Instead of sticking with Stormgate. And the tragedy is, this was mismanaged to hell and back. Frost Giant wanted to make something great. They just set expectations so high and delivered so little that even their genuine efforts couldn't survive the backlash, and rightfully so. You shouldn't be rewarded with goodwill because you underdelivered on a video game. Come on, man. Right. RTS fans have been hungry for years, and the fact that you just promise all of these things and proceed to underdeliver on them is just a travesty. A travesty. These players are right to demand stuff from you because you promised them that stuff in the first place. It's just, man, it's so sad. I feel so bad for those Kickstarter backers. Yeah, this wasn't Kickstarter. Yeah, $35 million. That was a figure they touted. So, more importantly, what do you learn from Stormgate? Don't trust ex-Blizzard devs. This is a joke. More importantly, don't overpromise. Marketing should inspire players, not trap you in expectations you couldn't meet. And don't lean too hard on Pedigree. Again, don't trust ex-Blizzard devs. Just because your team made Warcraft 3 doesn't mean that players will forgive a half-finished game. And don't underdeliver, don't launch unfinished. RTS fans are patient. They've waited years for a new game, they would have waited longer. And most of all, respect the legacy. If you're going to call yourself the successor to StarCraft, Warcraft, and Red Alert 2, you need to deliver a game worthy of being a spiritual successor to those games. Stormgate wanted to be the savior of RTS. Instead, it became a cautionary tale. Another entry in the growing list of games that promised the world and couldn't deliver. And that's why Stormgate will be remembered not as the rebirth of real-time strategy, but in another lesson of how not to sell your game. Thanks for watching, guys. And like, subscribe, do all that. If you watched the whole video, watch my other videos too. I kind of need views on those. Thanks, guys. You the MVPs. All right, I'm out.